What's going on, everyone? Today is Wednesday, April 10th, 2024. It is Wednesday, your midweek review. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope this week has been insightful so far. The rest of the week on Thursday at 8:30 tomorrow, we have core PPI month-on-month being released on top of unemployment claims. And then at 10 a.m., you have an FOMC member speaking. And then at 1 p.m., you have a bond auction, which is the 30-year. And then Friday, you end the week with 10 a.m. news being the consumer sentiment and inflation expectations. So we had no news on Monday and Tuesday. Today we had CPI. We'll go over where the charts are at right now and where we think it's going to trade for the rest of the week. And I'll go ahead and get into it, Henry, if you don't have anything else.
All good.
All right. Tell me when I'm good.
Good.
All good?
Yep.
Okay. So dollar on a monthly. Really, my main focus on a monthly is us filling in this entire SIBI right here. So my main focus would be 105,360. I could see that very well being hit this week. That's my main focus with regards to on the monthly. If we can get, obviously, monthly closure above this SIBI, then my eyes go to this swing high in here in around 107,500. But we still have 20 days left, so I'm not focusing there. I'm just going to still focus right now from a monthly perspective where my current draw is, and to me, that's 105,360 right here. When you go into a weekly, you can see that we've been talking about this weekly BISI. How do we respond once we get into that weekly BISI? Do we see new displacement following that? Right, we got that from understanding this low to this high. When we dipped down below equilibrium into discount, we created this BISI. So our eyes were here. You can see that our main buy-side liquidity that we have been talking about, 105, 104, got hit today. And for the most part, I'm expecting this low to hold. We know that we can still come back into this area if we decide to and still respect the consequent encroachment. But the willingness to not even reach into the consequent encroachment of this BISI and continue higher to take buy side shows me that we're still going to continue higher. On a daily, same thing, right? You can see this buy side has now been taken. So my main draw goes to the SIBI high, and then from there you can start to work in, obviously, the rest of the fill on the daily and here, and then even this swing high as well. Main idea is as long as we don't jerk all the way back lower tomorrow, I would like this low to hold for the most part. You can start to use this down closure to help you as well. I'd like to see, obviously, we have 1 hour left before this daily candle closes. I would like to see if we can close back above the buy side liquidity. So curious to see if we close above the buy side in this swing high or below it. Right now, we are trading above it. And then for the rest of the week, I'd really like to see Thursday come down and only make some form of swing low that does not fill in this, right? So we could come down and retest the upper portion of this SIBI. Really, I would only want it to do that before then continuing higher. And then that would, whatever we do, whatever low we create tomorrow, as long as it does not come all the way down here, which I do not necessarily see happening, then we will create another BISI, right? So delivering into weekly displacement in the form of a BISI and then creating daily displacement in the form of a BISI as well. And then I would look to see on Friday, whatever BISI we do create tomorrow, then we could potentially see in and around what it wants to do, if it wants to go into it, or if we want to continue going higher, depending on what Thursday does. So I'm continuously bullish, not necessarily changing my bias there. You can see that we have respected higher time frame arrays and have now created new displacement to the upside. Just curious to see where Thursday's low is tomorrow and where that BISI is created if we do create one. Just keep an eye out for the SIBI high on the monthly, right? See what happens when we fill that full SIBI on the monthly. If we decide to get really extended, right, you could also aim for two other levels I'll give you, which would be the full fill on the daily, right? And then you also have a volume imbalance right here, and then you have this swing high. So really just orienting the draw into this high, right? That's going to be our main draw in here, right? The full fill on the daily, the volume imbalance right here, and then the overall swing high. We know that we have relative equal highs up here, but we're not going to focus too far ahead of our situation right now. Take it step by step, liquidity point by liquidity point. So right now, my main focus is on the daily, can we get some closure, obviously above this buy-side liquidity, but more importantly, above the SIBI high on the monthly. If we can get some closure there, we can start to get some headway into these this high, and then even maybe this inefficiency, but that's later down the road. Other than that, that's it. Hopefully following this was insightful. We called out that weekly SIBI right as it was made, so Hopefully you guys were able to follow it and kind of see what was going on. We were expecting, obviously, if we were going to see downward momentum, we wanted to see new displacement from this SIBI. And you can see there was no follow through on the displacement. There was no new SIBI created. And that's why, obviously, we were mainly bullish, but we had to keep that in the back of our minds. And that was the follow through today on CPI. We knew when it was possibly going to happen because there was no news on Monday, no news on Tuesday. So we waited for the first red folder news event, which was CPI this morning at 8:30, and that provided us this. Now we have a lot more data that we can grab from and then take it into Thursday and Friday. All you, Henry.
Great. I'll bring up the indices. All right. So we'll take a look starting with ES. We've been continuing on the monthly chart, mostly with bullish order flow here, but you can see that now that we're starting to get a move higher on the dollar, we are seeing that opposing move that we would like to see on the indices, which is a move to the downside. Remember the inverse relationship, dollar higher, indices lower, or indices higher, dollar lower. So now that we're seeing dollar run higher, it makes sense to come back down into some discount arrays here on the indices. You can see that ES on the monthly chart has already reached back into February's high now, doing that immediate rebalance here on the monthly, and then resting just below. If we are going to see dollar continue working higher, I'd like to see ES gravitate down a little bit lower. You do have a volume imbalance down in here, and then of course the monthly BISI below. So if we're going to see dollar have a more extensive rally, this is where I would want to see ES make a retracement back into this monthly BISI below. All right, drop down to the weekly chart here. You can see today with CPI, we purged the prior week's low in sell side liquidity, ran down into that monthly immediate rebalance, and then back down into our down close candles here, which previously we've been looking at as the bullish order block. If we are going to continue with displacement to the downside, then I'm disregarding weekly PD arrays and keeping my focus on the higher time frame superior PD arrays, which would be from the monthly perspective. So if we're going to continue seeing displacement to the downside, then I wouldn't be so interested in this supporting a price move higher, but rather price continuing through that down into the monthly BISI that we have below. On the daily chart, we can see that today we ran out the sell side liquidity into that monthly immediate rebalance. We do still have sell side back down here from March, which this is in line with what we can see on NASDAQ as well, which we'll get into in just a minute. And then we do have these relative equal lows down here, which make up the high end of the monthly BISI as well. So today we ran down under sell side. We did close back above it, but I would like to see how Thursday and Friday play out as well. I do believe there's an opportunity to continue working a little bit lower back down into this range. NASDAQ, same ideas for the most part, making that retracement as dollar comes back up higher. In terms of sell side liquidity, we do still have the current monthly lows intact, which have not been purged just yet. We came just shy of it today, just about 2 handles shy of the sell side there, and then also the prior month's low as well, March's low here. And then beyond that, the next discount array would just be the midpoint of this candle's wick here. From the weekly, you can see right here, fell just shy of the sell side under the prior week's low, just about 2 handles there. The low here is 53.5 and the low here is 51.5. And then you do have sell side back from March as well. So that's March's low. Okay, so I'd be interested to see if we do make a deeper move back into discount of our larger dealing range here and run out that sell side liquidity. From the daily perspective, we are still trading back down in a discount of this larger dealing range, also inside the daily BISI right here. Okay, so it makes sense that we're having all of these retracements sort of here each time that we come back into a discount and into that daily BISI here, 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 and now again here. But as long as we are respecting the higher time frame displacement that we can now see here on a 4-hour chart, which we created a new SIBI here today on the CPI release, as long as we continue to respect that, I would like to see these relative equal lows get purged. This is a large consolidation that we've been operating within, and you're going to have the largest pool of liquidity resting under the low of that consolidation. So here, and then also these relative equal lows here, and you now have what would appear to the retail eye as 1, 2, 3, a triple bottom, a conventional support idea, and so we know there's going to be sell stops in the form of sell side liquidity resting under that low. for anyone who built a short position up in a premium of this range here, and these highs here, 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 and again here, to then offset their positions to a willing seller under these lows, because in order to buy it back, you need a willing seller. So still looking for the short idea to play out to reach down into the sell side here, but just being aware of the fact that we are trading in a discount. So while I would like to see the sell side purged, I haven't thrown out the bullish idea on indices. Okay, from a higher time frame perspective, if you're looking at a monthly chart, even if we are to come down and purge the current monthly low and even the prior monthly low, that does not necessarily equate to the indices needing to see a very large retracement back into the range. It's totally possible to just see a run on stops and a continuation back up to higher prices. And so while we have a short-term bearish perspective down into the sell side, we don't want to totally nix the bullish idea and start thinking of a full-on bearish idea just yet. Okay, you need to see some higher time frame PDRAs being traded through first, and ideally some displacement lower on the higher time frames as well. So on your weekly or monthly charts. Okay, that covers it for me here on indices. Carson, any last thoughts?
Nope, I'm all good. We've had 5 up closure candles in a row on NASDAQ, so what's to say that we get a down closure candle this month? I mean, it's not going to, the NASDAQ and almost any chart in the world does not just give straight monthly up closure month after month after month. Been 5 straight months of up closure. This would be the 6th month. If you think about seasonal tendencies, probably due for a down closure candle month. So, not saying that's what's going to happen, but you have to definitely keep it in the back of your head without necessarily throwing out the idea that you can still continue going higher. Just in a weird predicament right now with regards to just higher time frames and where we're at and seasonal tendencies, but you be patient enough, the chart will tell you where it's going to go.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the best things you can do is just wait for price to exit out of that consolidated range, and then either look for the signatures that tell you it's a stop run in one direction or the other, or continuation, which you would see through that new displacement occurring. So that's what I like to watch out for. I recommend you look for the same, as it will help you avoid participating in the kind of sloppy, more seek and destroy conditions that you see inside that larger consolidation. So stay patient, be safe and responsible as always. And any last thoughts? Are all good?
I'm good.
Okay, then we'll talk to you soon. Take care, everyone.
Be safe.